Welcome back to our live coverage of the West Bloomfield Fire Department Open House, celebrating 100 years of service from the West Bloomfield Fire Department to our community. I'm Tyler Keith, live at Fire Station number 1 in West Bloomfield. Still plenty of time left to come on out and join us at Fire Station number 1 until 3 o'clock on this Sunday, the 1st of October, 2023. And we also thank you for joining us online on demand on civiccentertv.com and on our YouTube page at Civic Center TV. Joining me now is Mayor of Keego Harbor, Robert Kalman, who also serves on the Tri-City Fire Board. And that's something that gets a little bit overlooked in the service of the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department. It's not just West Bloomfield Township they serve. It serves the Tri-Cities, also Keego Harbor, Orchard Lake Village, and Sylvan Lake. And it's a partnership that was built decades ago and in a really interesting way, but plays a big role in our 4 communities.
Right. For a number of years, Keego Harbor, Sylvan Lake, Orchard Lake had a volunteer fire department. And probably about 20 years ago, they entered negotiations and worked out a contract. Because when it was volunteer, of course, you had a staff and hoped people would show up. And they weren't able to provide medical support at the level that the West Bloomfield Fire Department was able to provide in terms of injecting medication and taking care of people on serious medical needs. So it was a great working relationship, and it's to this day we meet quarterly. There's 2 representatives from each community that meet with the Tri-City Fire Board. We have updates from the fire chief and the deputy fire chief, and they let us know what's going on with the community and how Fire Station number 9, which is our station on Orchard Lake Road, not too far from the old Abbott Middle School, right next door to the somewhat new, I guess, Roosevelt Elementary School. That's where our fire department's located.
Right in the heart of Keego Harbor on Orchard Lake Road, just after Commerce Road, and provides great service to the community. But it's not just the paramedic and EMT services or fire services when needed in an emergency. It's also kind of that preparatory stuff, that preventative stuff too, especially when it comes to development. And right now, a lot of development happening in Keego Harbor.
Yeah, the prep stuff is important. Preventive maintenance. I think the fire chief always stresses if they're doing their work, they're not going to have to come out for an emergency because they've done the preventive maintenance. There are fire inspectors coming to our new developments, the existing businesses for inspections. They'll look, do you have a fire suppression system? Do you have fire extinguishers? Do you have smoke alarms? Do they see any impediments to, if there was a fire, for the firefighters to have easy access? For example, when the fire took place in our trailer park, one door was blocked and they didn't have access, so it slowed their ability to fight the fire. So it's a great working relationship. Sometimes the developers are a little concerned, I'm going to have to do this, I'm going to have to do that. And it's usually for everybody's best interest that they do work with them.
How's that going to be an even more sort of important or more intimate relationship between the city, the developers, and the fire department going forward? We know that Keego Harbor is in a sort of renaissance right now with the residences at Cass Lake just approved by the Planning Commission and plenty of more development looking forward to the future under the Gibbs plan. I'd imagine that relationship is only going to get that much closer and be that much more involved between the city and the fire department.
Right. I mean, the residents of Cass Lake is it's a very involved, it's a highly engineered project. The fire department was instrumental step by step, working through the plans and working with the architects and the engineering team about ingress, egress, about fire suppression, about the roads. They've been very, very helpful. I think that we're also going to see a different type of parking structure. It's not a parking deck per se, it's a cube. And I think when people see it, they're going to be really surprised as to the intricacies. It's not like you're going to drive up. You'll have your car to the front, and the car is going to be lifted up, almost like the Vroom or you see the cubes that come up. That's going to be that type of a system. So they're involved with planning that with the developer. I'm excited. Both Dave's and Byron Turnquist, fire marshal, they've been great, and Greg Flynn, our fire chief. Really, they're great to work with. I'm very impressed, not just with that, but the firefighters and the paramedics. The response time is incredible. We really are. We're blessed in Keego Harbor. Our police department shows up within a minute if we need them. The fire department right down the road. And if they're busy, there's where there's 6 fire departments in the township. And especially when we were on the lake this past summer, when Cass Lake was super, super busy on the 4th of July. And a number of medical emergencies took place with underage drinking. At one point, I think all 6 ambulances were out on Cass Lake doing medical transports. So you know that we have the capacity and the capability and the skill set to handle emergencies when they arrive. So it's good to have a professionally trained and equipped fire department in our backyard.
You've got a little bit of that unique experience too, having, of course, been on the Tri-City Fire Board, but also having participated in the fire department's very special event in the Oakway Partnership, Fire Ops 101. That is a really interesting experience that, talking to leaders that have participated in it in the past from all four of our communities really gives them a completely different insight than they would expect into what our firefighters need to know how to do and what they often are doing in their partnership.
It is. And I tell my friends, I couldn't believe how exhausted I was from one day working with the fire department, the paramedics and firefighters. If people don't know Oakway is the collaboration, I know Greg Flynn talked about it earlier, collaboration of all the large fire departments and mutual aid. And Oakway puts on Fire Ops 101 at the Auburn Hills campus in Auburn Hills for Oakland Community College. And it's just to have the fire suit on and to go into a smoky building and not see what to see what the firefighters are going through, it gives you a totally different perspective. And I think, especially the one example I always give people is the stretcher, which used to be where you'd have to actually lift it up. And like you're finding out, paramedics and firefighters were having back injuries and knee injuries because it was so heavy. And I learned for the first time about the hydraulic system, where you push a button and it lifts it up and it spares, it saves injury to the firefighters. It helps a lot in the paramedics. So, I mean, it's just, and I think that there are also some artificial device defibrillators that they showed us. Some of the equipment was, we advocated for purchasing more equipment when we saw other departments using it, which West Bloomfield didn't have at the time. We're like, you know what, this makes sense. We should have that fire department.
So Rob Kalman's with us from the Tri-City Fire Board, also the mayor of the city of Keego Harbor, with us at Fire Station number 1, celebrating 100 years of service in the West Bloomfield Township Fire Department. Rob, your lasting thoughts today on our local fire department, its partnership with Keego Harbor and the Tri-Cities, and the important role that our public safety departments play in keeping our very close-knit communities safe every day.
Yeah. One thing I also see that I like is the collaboration between our local police department and the fire department. When the paramedics or firefighters show up for a run, more often than not, you're going to see a Keego Harbor police officer showing up to assist. That's usually if a firefighter or paramedic is showing up, somebody's not having a very good day. And to have a Keego Harbor police officer to assist is valuable, either to help move people around or keep some of the neighbors out of the way, or move some cars if people have to have access. So I think it's really important to have that close working relationship between the Keego Police Department and the fire department. So.
Also have that support both from our local government agencies and also from between those departments as well. Rob, appreciate you joining us.